We're here at One Rental at a Time in Las Vegas. If you could just give us like a 1 minute summary of all the things you have going on.
Sure. So my wife, Andrea, and I live in Houston, Texas. We own rentals in 3 different states, and we're currently developing 2 luxury assisted living homes in a suburb of Houston. But we started in single family rentals, and now we're kind of pivoting almost entirely into residential assisted living, which is a niche we've become more and more fond of the more we learn about it.
All right, so you and I going back and forth about NBA basketball, Rockets, Warriors, here and there a little bit. Okay, so if you could have dinner with one person that's alive, who would it be?
From the NBA or
just in general? In
general.
It could be fun, it could be real estate, it could be anything.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'm going to cop out and probably say, mainly because he's aging and there might not be as many opportunities, I'd have to pick Warren Buffett.
Ooh, okay. I like it. But not Kevin Durant?
Not probably KD. You know, Jimmy Butler, one of your Warriors, he he grew up in Tomball, which is the suburb of Houston that we're building in. So I actually am interested in, at some point, if he's interested, you know, in his Instagram, he says a kid from Tomball at the very beginning. So at one point, we need to get him, learning about what we're doing in his community.
That would be amazing. Okay, so you've done multifamily, single family, commercial, assisted living. Assisted living, like what does that even mean? Like, what are you doing with that?
So residential assisted living in particular, when people hear assisted living, they think of a nursing home in a big facility with, the long hallways and the nurses walking up and down. But assisted living, especially residential assisted living, is a home-like environment. They're not actually providing medical care. It's helping with activities of daily living. So like hygiene, food, medicine, all the things that people, once they kind of lose their independence, they need a little bit of help. So it's a great way to provide a much needed service, but it's in a residential environment where people are really being taken care of and engaged with all the way through the end of their life. So my wife in particular, her father had early onset dementia, was in one of those big smelly nursing homes for the final 7 years of his life. It was very depressing, not very fun at all. And, she always left feeling like, horrible when she go see him. And so this is meant to be the antithesis of that, where we're providing a real community and not just forgetting about people just because they're aging and dealing with their own kind of medical issues.
So on the real estate investing side, you're buying the property with systems and then outsourcing the services? Or how would you explain that?
There's 2 different ways that we are currently engaging in residential assisted living. One is what you just mentioned, and we call that the lease to operator strategy, where you own the real estate and you find somebody that's going to run the 24/7 business. They do all the staffing, marketing, and the caretaking, and you get on a long-term lease with them, kind of like almost like a triple net lease. They pay you a rent. You're a landlord, and instead of renting to a family, you're renting to a company. That's a great way to do it. It's very complicated from a lending perspective because you have to get different types of permits to do that in a residential home. But it's a great strategy for an investor who doesn't want to be involved in operations. The second, which is our development, that we are going to own and operate the business. So we're developing the real estate, which is a great play in and of itself. But then once we're done with it, we will run the underlying business. That's what my wife's going to spearhead. And that obviously it's a lot higher cash flow, but also you're running a 24/7, 365 business. So it's a great industry, but you got to have a big heart for it and really want to be involved in caretaking and investing in seniors essentially. Is
it a big barrier to entry into that lane, or how would you describe like the people who get in, people who don't want to get in?
Yeah, it's a very high barrier to entry. Every state's different. We're in Texas, which is very, in general, business friendly. Rezoning, permitting, things like that move a lot faster there than they do on a lot of other places. Like California would be the other end of the spectrum, where rezoning can take 18 months, depending on where you are, and permits, same thing. So like our rezoning process in Texas was only 10 weeks, which when I tell people that, they always are like, wow, that's crazy. But the barrier to entry is you need to be patient and willing to go through the regulatory process and the hurdles. And also you have to have patience if you're going to run the business. You need to be willing to endure the churn of staff and the training and the ramp up and then of course the actual behaviors too. We're doing memory care, and I don't know, I think a lot of people have had experiences in their life with someone with dementia or Alzheimer's. It's a challenging thing to deal with, even just on a human level, let alone like taking care of somebody like that. So there's a lot of mental resilience barriers to entry, and then a lot of regulatory barriers to entry too. We're okay with that because that means the people that kind of make it to the other side of that are really dedicated, and there is a high upside if you can endure that journey.
So you fast forward the clock 5-10 years. Like, what does the portfolio look like? What's the end game? Having these things paid off. Like, what does it look like in 10 years?
Yeah, so I think our goal, it's not like we're trying to build 100 of these. Like we want it to be within our kind of family umbrella and brand, but ultimately we're doing 16 bedroom, 16 private bathroom homes. We're building 2 of them in phase 1. We bought 7 acres of land, so it's big enough for 2 more to be built on the same plot. Once we really get this process down, we should be able to replicate it, and we'll either partner with people under our brand, or we'd love to partner with others to at least teach them, because we're spending years and years learning how to do this. It's a very unique, I guess, skill set and set of steps you have to take to do it. And so, in our mind, we want to be able to empower other people to do the same thing, because there's a huge shortage for this type of housing.
Okay.
So for us in our personal portfolio, I might have a handful of these and just run them really well. And every financial goal we've ever had will be accomplished if we do that and only that. But there's an impact component to being able to help other people do it, not only for their own financial goals and their futures, but the impact it can have on the senior care housing shortage.
So you've got twins as well.
Yep.
3 kids total or 4?
Yeah, we have a 4-year-old daughter and 2-year-old identical twin boys.
Okay, so you got family, takes time.
Yes.
Real estate takes time. Job takes time. Like, how are you managing all this?
So we're very lucky that my wife is fully dedicated to this business, which is what it takes, right? 24/7, 365. You can't really do that, in just your spare time with a W-2. I've held down a W-2, which helped us get all the financing and lending during this period of time. It remains to be seen if that's sustainable over the long term. But again, as I mentioned, just by getting this up and running through construction, stabilized, we will meet every financial goal we've ever had with or without my W-2. So I think there's a very clear path to being able to dedicate. And right now we're taking it 1 month at a time. No month is like the month prior, and nor the one ahead. We're under construction right now. The further we get towards opening, then we'll have to hire staff. So we're just honestly taking it as it comes right now. And we're willing to do what needs to be done on any side of our life to get through. And yeah, with the kids, we have non-negotiable rules for how much time we spend with the family, and we make sure to bake that time in. We take family dinners very seriously. We take outings every weekend. We make sure to get the quality time in and protect that. And then on the other sides of that, of course, it's a lot of hard work.
And then you're also doing content and running communities and all these things. Okay, what's one more thing about 2026 that's got you pumped up?
One thing about 2026. I feel very enriched and grateful to be part of so many communities. One Rental at a Time is an amazing community. I'm in Coach Carson's community. I run a different community, and I'm in a residential assisted living focused group. And I just the energy and the attitude that people have this year, it feels like there's a lot of opportunity. People are feeling optimistic, even though there's a lot of things going on in the world that are unpredictable. That's fine. We focus on what we can control, and I'm inspired by all the people that I meet at all these different events in the communities.
Well, and you're going to be speaking today, in a couple hours.
Later today with my wife, which. She ultimately is the vision and the passion and the why behind this current business came from her and her experience with her family. So we're excited to share that story.
Thank you. I appreciate you making time, man.
Thanks for having me.
Cool.